Hello and welcome to the Project Woman Conversations with myself, Abby Adams. How many symptoms have you tried to fix over the years? Because that's the option that we've been given, right? You fix a symptom and then life is great once more. But is it? Getting curious, is it? Because what is a symptom? We see so many symptoms now, especially in regards to female health, beginning to emerge. Many that we are becoming well aware of, such as PMS, PCOS, endometriosis, infertility. But where are they coming from? And more importantly, how are we nurturing these symptoms? Because really and truthfully, with all of the years and experience that I have gained in this field, I realised deeply that you cannot fix a symptom because the symptom is never the issue. Because you are not an issue. When we apply these protocols that we are currently given through the likes of pills, sometimes even the removal of certain organs, because we believe that the issue again is the culprit and it needs to be dealt with on its own, not looking at it in its entirety. Because what we see is when we have a symptom, there is a hormonal response. So we have journeyed from now understanding that there is a symptom, understanding that there is hormones that are triggering these symptoms, but we seem to have kind of stopped there. What's beyond that? Well, then we start to look at the organs and the endocrine systems and the systems that flow through the body. But what happens from that? Well, when we start to look, we start to see that the endocrine system, which triggers these responses, which triggers the hormones to react in a certain way, which then creates the expressions of these symptoms, we start to see that environment is the next step of which we want to assess. Because it is the environment that is calling out these symptoms. Because depending on your DNA, because everyone is different, depending on your life experience, did you have a relatively easy child upbringing, or was it traumatic? Because that childhood will then cultivate how you digest stress. And when we have this blueprint, when we have this unique switch of stress and how we deal with it, again, this changes the hormonal flow, this changes the expressions. Within our DNA, if there is along your history, your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather, down that history line, if there are things such as cardiovascular issues, if there is endometriosis, depending on the environment that you are raised in, it's the environment that will pull out that endometriosis. Because we now realize we don't have to make that happen. Sounds a bit trippy, but it's true. We now realize this with epigenetics. We don't have to follow in the line of our ancestors if we are planted in the right environment. So when you are looking to treat a symptom, you are looking to journey through the hormones, through the endocrine system, through the stress response, through the body and out into your environment. And this is what I call the adventure of understanding, that we come out and we realize where in our environment is flipping this stress response that is creating these symptoms. And when we look outside of ourselves, we see that we have toxic load. So many toxins now in our water, in our clothing, in our furniture, in our buildings, in our foods. We have environmental stresses from workload, from social commitments, from family life. And then we have stress within the food and nutrition. When we can find that stressor or stressors, we can begin to treat that symptom, because it cannot be fixed. When we take a pill or anything similar like that, or even if we have an operation, all we are doing is basically putting a plaster, or really what we're doing is we're suppressing that communication that the body is trying to give you, which is a message to say that something inside isn't working. That line of energy will then go somewhere else. And this is why we treat one thing, something else comes up. We treat another thing, something else comes up. Don't get bogged down with trying to fix a symptom. Your health is way more fulfilling. You have so many choices. But we have to journey under the skin first. We have to journey underneath that symptom first and start surfing. Start surfing towards that root cause. Start surfing towards that stressor. And when you find it, you're going to ride the biggest wave of your health. And that's when it all starts falling into place. Don't fix the symptom. Source the cure. Source the source. And then your body becomes an amazing place to live in. Isn't that what life's all about? I'd love to hear from you if you've got a symptom. I'd love to hear from you in how you have been treating this symptom. What choices have you been given? Because I wonder if you've been given every choice. I'd love to hear from you. All right, my darlings, take it easy.